a little bit about me. I am a Sigma ambassador. Absolutely love Sigma lenses, and we will talk more about Sigma lenses along the way because I can't even stand it how much I love them. And I'm a top Nikon 100 photographer, so that's super fun too. And I'm primarily a wedding photographer. Love wedding. And I want to say, like, I am a wedding photographer because yes, I can photograph other things, like I'm physically able to, but my passion, my love is weddings. And for a couple of reasons, I love working under pressure. I love feeling that little bit of pressure there, love it. And I also love connecting with people. I love being out in nature at golden hour, but I can't handle just the nature. Like, I need to put someone in it. So that that's something that that I just love. I love being a wedding photographer. I'm based in Utah. But I love traveling. So put me in an airplane, let's go somewhere. I love it. And then as far as Utah goes, I'm close to the coast, California, and then also in Utah, I'm so blessed with all of the different landscapes, like red rocks, and I'll be able to show you all of this stuff here. Red rocks and dried lake beds and that sort of thing. But I'll also talk about how you can make your photo shoots look just as awesome, even if you don't think you have, that landscape to choose from. Okay, but going back to adventure elopements, with COVID pissing off the wedding industry and like throwing us through a loop, it's just like canceled or postponed our weddings, and it's just really messed a lot of things up. Now here in Utah, my weddings are a little bit different because I work with a lot of the LDS Mormon Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint culture. And so you can't live together before you get married. And so when the quarantine happened, these brides and grooms, they're living with their parents, right? And like they're like, we can't be quarantined with our parents. We got to get married now. And so a lot of these weddings that I had were like calling me up, hey, what are you doing in 2 days? What are you doing tomorrow or whatever? Because they wanted to elope, and they needed to get married fast so that they could quarantine with with their wife or husband. So I don't know if that makes sense. So they can't live together, so they couldn't anyway. So so I ended up shooting these fun, super awesome adventure elopements, like hiking and everything. So we're going to talk about 3 different things today. The first one would be finding our adventure clients, pricing, and then kind of the do's and don'ts associated with shooting adventure elopements. So those are kind of the 3 things that we'll go over today. So I want to talk about finding my adventure clients. So it's not like if you do this, then you'll find them. It's kind of like a mixture of a bunch of different things. And that goes across the board with finding your client just in general. So I'm going to speak about these 4 super, super fun clients that I was able to photograph. So this first couple, Derek and Kyle, they were my first gay wedding. And like I said, I live in Utah. We're very conservative out here. And so you have no idea how many times I had people ask me, my clients, how did you find a gay couple like that? That is just so, and not only a gay couple, but a gay couple that wants to shoot in Belize and take you away into the Caribbean. Actually, I don't know. Is that the Caribbean, Belize? Anyway, but the way that I found them was just and this is a different presentation altogether, but Instagram. So social media, Instagram, having my profile out there for the world to find me. And I know that one of the sisters of the grooms, that she follows me on Instagram. And so that's how they specifically found me. But she had been following me for years and knew that I was adventurous and that I just loved to do crazy and wild things. And so she's like, you've got to book McKenzie for your wedding. And anyway, and so it was, like I said, it was on a cruise. So this was a very interesting wedding because price, and we'll go over pricing in a minute, but I ended up going on the cruise with this couple, and experiencing all of these awesome, funny memories. This shot on the bottom right was this little, this tiny little boat. Oh gosh, what is it called? A skiff or something? Anyway, there's Greg. He goes in and out in his black outfit. This tiny little skiff, and we had to shove the groom and the wedding party back in the back of it because it was going so fast and we were just getting splashed. And so like the wedding vendors, the people that don't matter, we were like hiding, like our gear was back where it was safe, but we were like getting soaked, just soaked. And again, it doesn't matter because we're like the ones that don't get to be photographed. So and I kind of love it that way. I kind of love that we're like, I'll be the one that sacrifices myself, anyway, for the betterment of the group, right? Anyway, so this was, we went from like, oh, and that's what I was going to say. So people look at these pictures, fellow photographers, they look at these images and they're like, whoa, what an amazing thing to be a photographer shooting a gay wedding on a remote island in the middle of nowhere. That sounds amazing. But then when you really think about how much it took to get out there, I'm flying from Salt Lake to Florida, and that's a long flight, and then flying and getting onto a boat, checking into a boat, being which is fun, obviously, going on a cruise, and then from there, the cruise, you're going, you disembark to the port, then the port to the little skiff, then a 2-hour boat ride over to that little island. Then we had maybe like an hour of time on the island before we had to get back on the skiff, over on the boat, get back on the big boat before it left us. So yes, it was like the craziest hour to photograph a wedding ever of my whole life ever. Look how cool this is. There's a Sigma logo right there. I know, my husband did that. He's like, but you have to, anyway, I get distracted easily. Okay, so yeah, so here I am like planning and prepping and so excited and going through all these details, and all of it is just like vomiting out in 1 hour. So we have an hour to get all of this done. And I mean, it was pressure. And like I said, I love pressure. I love the stress that's involved there. And I feel like I actually work better under that pressure. So this wedding, cake cut, and then they really wanted to get their swimming suits on and have everyone jump into the water after we ate tacos. So it was kind of, like I said, it was one of the most amazing experiences ever. And I'll mention this in a minute about pricing, but everyone's like, whoa, you must have had, I mean, you must have paid, had charged them so much for that wedding. But I'm like, every time, I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil. Oh, okay. But I will show you this fun video. So I am kind of known to make fun videos with my clients, and that is how I've been able to get a lot of Instagram followers. I make these lip sync videos with clients, and recently with like copyright stuff, like I've been able to make them with Reels. So that's been awesome, you guys. If you need the first Instagram tip ever is to start whenever Instagram busts out something new, you jump on it with them and they will help you with the algorithm. Okay, so that's just a little tip and trick. Okay, so Reels, it's kind of like TikTok, little videos. So I made this video with this client, or with my clients, this gay couple, and it might be a little glitchy. I've been testing it and it might be a little little tricky there, but I'm going to just preface, it's the song Cake by the Ocean. So does everyone know that song? The Cake by the Ocean, walk for me, baby. Okay, so that's the song, and then we're holding a cake and we're by the ocean. Shut up, that's hilarious, that's perfect, I love it, I'm dying. Okay, so this tiptoe, waste time for the masterpiece, waste time with the masterpiece, stop it. How fun is this, right? And we did this all within like an hour of us doing this. Isn't that so fun? My husband had his drone there. My husband was with me. Anyway, I wore my Caribbean blue shirt to match the ocean. Don't think this just happens, okay? Don't think this is just happening. All of this is thought through. And yes, I did have sexy, delicious pink hair. If you're wondering why I don't have pink hair right now, it's because it burned off. It's a sad day. I had to go back to be a normal person. It's the worst. Anyway, so yeah, love it. I don't know if you can hear it. That's why I'm talking over it. Okay, so yes, it might take some time to do some of those little videos, but it is super fun. The client absolutely dies and loves it. I make sure that they know and ask for it and are okay with that beforehand. But what that experience gave me was some super awesome Instagram content. Shut up. This picture on the bottom right, it looks like I am literally living large, having the best time of my life. I'm a wedding photographer shooting a wedding Belize. The funny thing is that I totally photoshopped out all the other people on the right side. So it looked like I was like, I'm just by myself and I own this giant ship. No, but yeah, I just like clone stamped like that entire level of of windows and just brought it down. Anyway, so yeah, so these pictures kind of just showcase like how fun and then you demonstrate that and show that and post that on your Instagram feed, and then people will be like, oh, she does do that. So we'll talk about pricing in a minute again, but first I want to talk about Ryan and Katie. So I am located in Utah, which is like the Mecca. We had the Olympics were here. Okay, so we got snow, the best snow on earth, the greatest snow on earth, the best ever. Okay, so we are known for skiing and snowboarding and all things winter sports. Ryan and Katie, I met, and that's another thing. So Derek and Kyle, I knew them. They found me from a sister from Instagram. Ryan and Katie, I've known Katie and had been connected with her since I was a student at in college. I have a degree in photography, so I'm super legit, you guys. Okay, so I knew her in college. I photographed her family along the way. She ended up getting a divorce, and then I took a boudoir session with her and talked about like, you know, the fella who she was giving these to, and she's like, oh yeah, like maybe, you know, we'll get married, and she's like, we just don't really want a big wedding. I'm like, you should elope and we should do it amazing, like on top of a mountain. She's like, oh, well, I am a skier. And I'm like, oh, we have to do something with skiing. We have to do. And so this is me putting this information in her head, making it happen because I want it, because I want these pictures and I am forcing it upon her. So then like a couple months go by, she's like, so you kind of implanted that in my head. And I think we've decided to just go ahead and elope on a ski lift. And my mind of a ski lift was like, oh, I don't know if that's physically possible. There's like room for 3 people tops, and we could die falling off of it. I don't think that's, you know, but apparently in snowbird, that's the ski resort. It's this huge tram. I'll show you a picture of it. Oh, this is cute. Actually, before we went up there, before we went up to the actual ski lift, along the way we stopped and got some pictures with like their cute family, because this is like a blended family now. And anyway, we just had so much fun. Oh, cutest ever. And they had like cute, you know, they planned ahead, got white furs, you know, tuxes and everything. And so this is look at this, stop it right now. They got married inside this tram going up the mountain, and this tram ride was like maybe 5-7 minutes. So they had to make sure that it was 5-7 minutes long. Anyway, and we'll talk about lenses kind of along the way, but if I did not have I had the Sigma 14 to 24 2.8, delicious, yummy, yummy, yum. If I did not have that lens, all would be lost. All would be lost if I did not have the 14 to 24 lens. And I can't stress how important that dang lens has been in my life with all of my adventure elopements and the locations that I've been shooting at. So in this tiny little tram, there's her 2 kids, a friend, the guy, the officiant, who's like one of the friends. He's wearing ski boots. He skied down the mountain after they got married. And yeah, it was just like a big party, had so much fun. Like they'd had their first dance in ski boots on the mountain, and then we got to the very, very top, and it was just a whiteout. It was just, and P.S. it was freaking cold. My hand, I was like, oh, I think my hand isn't moving. I had to go back in and like take a break, and sometimes you have to like put your hand on your armpits like this and just quickly warm them up. But yeah, I loved the snow on the flowers. I loved you know, it made for the absolutely best like unique images. And I only charged them like $600 for this session. And the reason was because I wanted to do it so dang bad. And it equaled to I mean, like they've been featured in on different Instagrams and different websites and stuff. And obviously on my own page. So I know how much these images are worth. They're worth well over $600 and well over that amount of time that I spent. Maybe I charged $725. I can't even remember. It was definitely not the appropriate amount to be charging, but it only took me maybe an hour from like start to finish to shoot it. It wasn't like this long day thing. And that's not okay. And we'll talk about pricing in a second. I don't want to hurt your heads right now. Oh, okay. This was so funny. So we have a Jeep, and the couple was like trying to show us locations, and they got stuck in the snow. And so we pulled them out of the snow with our Jeep. And I remember telling Greg, I was like, Greg, we look like such bosses right now, pulling our clients out of the snow with our cool white Jeep. Ha ha ha. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. But okay. So this next super, super cute couple, I love them so much, Josh and Hannah, they are the essence of a COVID wedding, the essence. They met each other because Josh had to come home to quarantine because of something. He was in school, medical school or something. And oh, look, there's the Sigma logo again. So they met, I think like hiking, and they started like dating, which I don't probably know how probably good that was because of the whole quarantine thing. Anyway, they did it. It's fine. They started dating and hiking all the time, and then they were just like, we got to get married. We're gonna get married. And so they got married. They called me and they're like, we need to get married like stat. We're gonna get married, and we want you to hike up a mountain. And this was like the way that they found me was from a bride. Referred her to me. Like, she saw her wedding images. So like I said, either a personal connection or an Instagram moment or a previous bride. So all of these people are finding me through different ways. And with this specific wedding, oh my gosh, you guys, it was so crazy. They said, do you want to go on a hike? I'm like, yes. I always just say yes. Like, whatever you want me to do, I will do it. You guys, I hate hiking. I hate it. No one should hike. Hiking's the worst, because you're sweating, and you guys, I had to carry like, I was gonna have my husband come with me just to carry my bag. I'm like, no way, man. I'm a freaking woman. I'm so freaking strong. I don't need no man holding my bag, carrying it up the mountain. Like, I got this. I'm sure they're not going to take me on some crazy hike. You guys, horrible. It was horrible. It was the worst. And the reason was because the videographer like took too long, and I was like, you have 4 minutes now. Hustle your buns, buddy boy. Because there were two options. We could either go up like the normal, like slow route. It took a little bit longer, maybe an extra 20 minutes, or we could go a little bit longer, or like shorter, the shorter route that would get us up to the top faster. And when I think short, I'm like, oh, just like a little bit of an incline. No, it went straight up the mountain. Okay. Oh, this is the first while they're walking along. That's so cute. There's a little trail. Oh my gosh. And God bless the 105 1.4 lens. Dear Sigma, I love you. Look, let's show Sigma again. Dear Sigma, I love you. I love you, Sigma. Oh, that's cute. That's a cute idea right there. Okay. This 105 1.4, I think this is one of the first shoots I did with it. Oh, my mama. I love it so much. I love the compression of it. I love the 1.4, that bokeh. I think it's called the Bokeh Master, and it is masterful. It bokeh and it masters. It's just dreamy, and I just absolutely love that lens, especially for first moments like this. Now, let me tell you about this little hike I went on. This hike that went straight up the freaking mountain for 3 miles. I don't even know how many miles. Let's just say 3 so that it sounds worse. But along the way, I thought I would get like these great shots of them like behind the scenes and stuff. No, this picture of the groom is slightly like out of focus because they were literally like running. We were almost late. The golden hour was going down. I planned this appropriately, just so we know. I'm going to say the videographer after a lot of things out there, and I was trying to. So anyway, but yeah, with adventure elopements, it is tricky because there are so many different things. You have to get up there at the perfect time with golden hour so that they can get married. You can get all of your shots and get the yummy shots with the sun going down. So that is the one of the don'ts is don't cut yourself short with time. Make sure that you have more time, because you cannot, I know you think you can stop the sun from setting, but you can't. And so you've got to time that appropriately. But yeah, getting some cute behind the scenes shots. These ones were the ones that I knew that they would want because it would capture the fun memories and stuff along the way. But they were some of the trickiest ones because I'm trying to scale these rocks with holding a camera on my neck and not having it smack against this. You guys look at her. She's like in heels climbing up this thing, and I was sweating my face off. Okay. Oh, look at this. Okay. So everyone is literally perched on the edge of a cliff. This is them perched on the edge of a cliff. And I mean, I'm shooting they got married, shoot. And I was the one that like grabbed the dress, made it all big because everyone else was like perched up above. So making sure that you're paying attention to all the details and taking a breath and looking. Like this picture of up on the right with them dipping. I had literally no time. Like I wish you all were all there with me because they go up here, turn around, everyone look at me, now smile, big happy smile, now this, now here, now here. You guys, we were fast, working with this situation. And again, doing it again, I would have made us have at least like another hour just so that I didn't feel so rushed for them on the wedding day. So that was something that I really wish I could go back and do over, is just have maybe gone on that stupid hike beforehand to know exactly my route, exactly know how long it takes to get up there. So let me have you learn from my mistake and just try a little bit harder. I didn't try hard enough, I guess. Guys, if I would have had to do that hike twice, that would have sucked, but you should do it. Anyway, okay, so as you know, we get these pictures of them. One of my favorite, okay, this is going to show you some Insta stories along the way. People want to hear about what you're doing. So before I left, I was like, you guys, I'm going to go hike a mountain. And so your following on Instagram is going to be a part of it with you. And so you want to show them the nitty gritty. You want to like be a part, show them that. So I don't know if you can hear the audio, but this is me. Yeah. So look at my sweat. I basically zoomed in on my sweat on my face because that's super normal to do that. But it doesn't look like it, but it was straight up the mountain. Okay, so some behind the scenes stuff, posting on Insta stories, showing the behind the scenes stuff, and then I then I post this resolute video. I have done it. I have conquered. I have done it. Okay, so people, you want to show your clients that fun side of you, so that they feel that like when you're going to show, when I know that when I book McKenzie Deakins as my wedding photographer, that she's going to have fun. She's going to do these fun behind the scene photos. Like they understand what it's going to be like on the wedding day because you've kind of given them a little taste. It's not like, because when you see these epic, gorgeous photos, it's almost like they can't even put themselves in that situation, but then if you show the behind the scenes of how that veil got like that because the dad was on the side going like this, that's the fun stuff, is doing those behind the scenes Insta stories. So this is Andre and Stephanie. Now they were married, and this is actually done before their wedding, and I want to talk about this because it's not a big thing that happens in any other state besides Utah. At least I don't think so. We call this in the past, like when I was getting married 100 million years ago, actually, I think it's been 17 years. Anyway, we did these things called bridal sessions. So before the wedding, you'd get your bridal dress on and you would go out and have this gorgeous shoot with just the bride, which is weird now that I'm realizing this, with just the bride in her bridal dress. And then at the reception, you would have a beautiful 20 by 24 print of the bride and her bouquet. And they're going to be like, wow, look at, there she is. And it was all for this one picture to be presented at like the reception. Now that's morphed over the years into a formal session with the bride and the groom. And then it's morphed into like a first look. So that's what first look sessions are for us out here in Utah. So when we say like a first look session, it's not on the day of the wedding. It's actually like a couple weeks before the wedding. And so they've paid to have their hair and makeup done. They've paid for an extra bouquet and a boutonniere, and for him to have his suit dry cleaned if need be. Anyway, so that's done 2 hours before, and it can be done in a super awesome location like this. So this is southern Utah. So I live in like kind of northern Utah by Salt Lake City. This is further south, and it takes some time. it's a good 3-hour drive, guys. So I wanted to put in that effort. I wanted to make these images for this bride and groom because I knew that they would bring it. I knew their style. I knew her wedding dress. I had her send a picture of her wedding dress because I was like, yeah, I'm going to make this work. So I charged them like a minimal fee because I wanted to get down there. I wanted to make this happen. Because look at these images. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, these are the funnest. And like, this is the first look moment where he sees her. He walks, we got a sand dune. She's walking up behind him. He turns around. I'm using my, I don't know, lens, 1.0. Oh, I don't think I had my 1.0 whatever. Anyway, I had a long lens, long focal length lens. So you're far away and they're having this special, precious moment. You're getting these authentic, genuine expressions. And this is something I would suggest you put in price-wise to your clients is say, hey, what if you're planning on doing a first look a couple hours before the session or before your wedding, why don't we just do that a couple weeks before your wedding and do it at a super amazing location that fits with your personality and style and the look of your wedding, but is at golden hour, and you have all this time to just relax and not be stressed about like, now we have to hustle to get the venue and hustle to do these pictures too. And instead it's just the two of you with your gorgeous outfits, your gorgeous bouquet. And like I said, you get to have that relaxed, beautiful look of the groom. Just loving it. You guys, I got goosebumps right now. I love weddings so much. But it just, it does, it slows it down a little bit. It makes it so that they get amazing images. And you can't get that otherwise, honestly. You can't get a lot of golden hour shots with your bride and groom unless you say, you guys, let's run over here really quick in the middle of your reception and take this picture. And then it's just rushed. But instead you get, these beautiful shots that just show off them. And I just think it's worth it. And you can build that into the cost of their wedding, and you can explain it a little bit. Lucky enough for me, I am in Utah where it's like a part of everything. It's engagements, first look session, and then the wedding day collections. So for me, it's a part of it. So that's why I'm so lucky to have these these fun locations, and that my culture is already like built into that like, oh, the pricing is already built in there. Okay, and then I did a lip sync with them. I don't know if this is gonna translate. This is the Despacito song, and the only words I knew, so they all speak Spanish. He's actually from Mexico. Yes. He knew every word, obviously, because he's like a boss. And that's the dad. We busted the dad out. Pasito, pasito. That's the best part I knew. I knew that part. Oh, look, McKenzie, blonde hair and curly hair. Wow. Every single hair. Pasito, pasito, suave, suavecito. Poquito, poquito. Despacito. I knew that part really well. And then the dad, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Okay, this is well after the sun had gone down. Like, it is dark, dark. Despacito. See, but they knew that I love doing this stuff, and they were like, hey, and I just say at the end of the session, I'm like, hey, you guys want to make a music video? You want to have some fun? And then they're like, yeah. And it is dark, you guys. I'm at ISO like 100 million. I don't know. I'm at 100. My ISO is crazy high. And then I'm like, okay, where's my 35 millimeter 1.4 lens, which God bless America. I love the 35 millimeter 1.4 lens. Shut your face right now. I love it so much. I love the focal length. I love the 1.4, and I love the price point. As a new photographer, not even a photographer, whenever I mentor people, I'm always like, you got to get the 1.4 35 millimeter lens. Okay, anyway, so that's that.
McKenzie, we had a question. Are you using natural light, flash, or on these outside shots?
I am what you would like to call a lazy photographer. So I make my Sigma lenses do all of my work. So I usually just bust out my ISO up to high heaven. Now that all of back in the day when I had to use flash because of all of the pixels that would come through there and the noise, I would have to use flash, right? But now that we have the capability, the technology, and the high ISOs with these great cameras, I use the Nikon Z7. Seriously, I'm like, up with my ISO, open with my f-stop, la, 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 see what happens. I have a really steady hand, so like 1/60th of a second is like nothing to me. could like hand hold it 1/0 of a second. So no, not really though. Okay, don't pretend that didn't just happen. But yeah, so I don't usually use flash. I think I have to though, because I want to do this really cool. I'm doing an adventure elopement in Moab. And I want to do like at night, a night sky thing. So I think I'm gonna have to like use it. Whatever. It's so hard. It's so hard and it's so boring. It's not as fast as just like being a little bit lazy. So, but yes, I am an event photographer, so I do use my flash at receptions, like when it's dark and when I need to stop motion, obviously if they're dancing and stuff. So I use it kind of paparazzi style, like I pop my flash just straight on. I think I have the SB 900. I think that might be what I have. And I just flash straight on at the so it's kind of like paparazzi style, right? And then on another low light setting like sparkler send off, I usually just put on the 35mm 1.4, and because I raise my ISO to be able to see that light of the sparklers, and I just like using that, the ambient light and the fun light that comes from those sparklers. So that's how I use that. I'm just trying to think of the low light scenarios where I would need to use a flash. And then, yeah, like indoor stuff. And obviously I know how to use my camera off, because I've been a photographer for freaking forever. So I know how to use off camera flash. I just don't like the look of it right now. It's just not, it's not trending. It's not like a part of the style that's happening, or it's not even my style. So that's kind of where I've been. Yeah. I hope I answered that question right. That was kind of like a yes. Thank you, friends. Sigma. Yes. Okay. Okay, so let's keep going on. How do I find these adventure clients? So I've kind of been telling you along the way how these specific brides and grooms have found me. Oh, Stephanie and Andre, I forgot to tell you, Stephanie found me because her sister wanted to do a workshop with me, and we ended up going to Disneyland together and having like a Disneyland party. And then she ended up, she was my hair person, guys. I know, right? She was like, so I traded photography services for my hair getting done. As you can see, I have high maintenance hair. I either want it pink or blonde or short or curly or whatever. So she has been helping me with that. So I ended up trading with her for like $1,800 worth of hair stuff. So she did my hair for like 3 years. But it was totally worth it because I needed my hair done and she needed her pictures taken, and she's super cool. So that's how I did that. Anyway, so that's how, so like I said, you're like, how do you do it? And you're like, this is how you do it. How do I find my adventure clients? You put out into the world that you are an adventurous person. You make it happen. If you have that one client that's like, oh, I actually want to go to Belize, and you're like, oh, okay, yes, then I will say yes, and I will make sure that whatever you want, I will say yes to. So saying yes always, and telling them that you're an adventure family. So like Alaska, like carnivals, we're in Hawaii. I post a lot on my Instagram so that people can see that like, you want to go here? Let's go here, because I've already been there and we're going there. We're doing it. Okay. So showing that putting that out there into the world that you're an adventurous person, and showing that, and then also getting those clients in your portfolio to show off that you can photograph an adventurous thing. So, or an adventurous. Okay, so where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Well, unfortunately, right now in the US, we cannot really go anywhere. Thank you. No, thank you. COVID, blah, blah, blah. But if we were wanting to maybe shoot, if we're in Utah like I am, and I want to shoot more in like Florida or in Southern California or in New Mexico or Texas or something like that, something like exciting. So just translate this into wherever, and then maybe we can go back to Europe or Asia or something someday. But let's just kind of think about domestic flights, right? So where you kind of figure out where you want to go, and maybe you want to go to France, but you can't because of Corona. So maybe you could go to, like I said, New York. Anyway, maybe get your passport just in case you need to get out of the state real quick. I don't know. I think we can go to Mexico, right? I think we can go to like the places where they need. No? Is that a no? Okay. The only person I can see right now is my brother right there. He is so handsome with his beard. Okay, anyway, yeah, so let's just take this information and translate it to somewhere domestic. Okay, so the first step is you would find your local venues, vendors, influencers on Instagram, that kind of a thing. And I know that really went fast. So just look at number one, first step, okay? So you're gonna find, so let's pretend that we're going for like New York photography, something like the Hamptons or something. So that's where you got some money. There's money out there. So you find a venue on Instagram, or I just am like such a lover of Instagram, so I'm just gonna say Instagram. You find their local hashtag like Hampton wedding, New York City wedding, New York wedding, something like that. And then you find those hashtags, and then you start licking. So I love that I just said liking and commenting. So double tap and commenting on those pictures. And then you start following vendors that are out there so that you're connecting with them. And I know it doesn't seem to like, oh, but this is how it goes. And then you comment and you follow them. And then you make your move. You reach out to them on direct message or a formal email. I kind of like direct message because I want it to feel more friendly. It's like, hey, I'm out here. If I come out there like twice a year, I'd love to work with you. Let me know if there's something that we could, on a project we could work on together. Something like that, like a giveaway together or something like that. Anyway, so sending them like a fruit basket or flowers just to keep, like, I know that sounds like super salesy, but it's just those little touches that, like, well, if you invest your time and money and your efforts into making that sale happen, it will happen for you, because not a lot of people do this. So then you seal the deal, you set up a time to meet in person, or if you can't, like via Zoom, right? And then you ask like what it entails to be put on their preferred vendor list, and they say, oh, well, we usually like them working with you for a first time, or have someone else that's worked with you refer you to us. And that's the part that's kind of tricky. But then you can say, hey, why don't we do a giveaway for a free photo session at your venue, like an engagement, or something that's like low key, so that they can just get like that working relationship going. I've done that multiple times, and I've been able to put on multiple high-end destination vendors like Park City, that kind of a thing, onto their preferred vendor list. So just creating that connection and that connection with them. And then if you're doing elopements, coordinating with a wedding coordinator. So like a high-end one, someone that's like legit. And if you don't know who they are, you should know who they are. Go ahead and find them. Okay. Okay. Now, following up. So once you've done that photo shoot, once you've created that connection, continue that relationship. You need to be the one that massages that relationship. I know that we are wedding photographers. We're not salespeople. We're not marketing, but we are now. You do need to get from what you need to be, that photographer, that creative. Then you also need to be the branding expert, the customer service expert, the accountant. Sometimes, actually, I'm not the accountant. Honeybook does my accounting. Oh baby. But yeah, so making sure that you're following up and massaging that relationship. It's really interesting because even just doing a couple of those things, maybe it's taken you an hour total, like out of your life, as in regards to like the communicating part. But it can exponentially build your business. It can get you into those locations that you want to be in and get you paid that level. So, okay. Now the world is your office, or
McKenzie.
the United States.
Hi, McKenzie. There was one question from somebody here. Do you ever need to check for permits in particular locations that you visit? How do you research in advance in case there are any restrictions on the venue you are visiting? Or does it all fall on the client?
No, I feel like I keep my communication open with my client. Like, I mean, I tell them to Marco Polo me. I like my client to feel like we're best buddies. And so when we're talking about a venue or location, so venues and locations are slightly different. So like a venue is like, the Moab under canvas tent. Like that's an actual venue kind of a thing. But if we're going to like the sand dunes and we go to Snow Canyon, which is like a park, then I would be the one that communicates and knows the fees associated with that. So if we're going out for a first look and it's just like a big wide open place, either a national park or something like that, I know that I mean, I can't, I'm like, how did I even know? I think like going out there for the first time, but connecting with people on Facebook. I'm in a lot of Utah local Facebook groups. And so some people will be like, hey, are the lavender fields in bloom yet? Hey, has anyone been up to Albion Basin to see the wildflowers yet? Hey, what does it look like out at the salt flats? Is there water? Has it dried up yet? So that connection for that photography, it's so awesome being able to so going on Facebook and joining some Facebook local groups. I would say number one, that's how you get your information. But then when you're talking to your bride and she's saying, hey, I'm shooting at this under canvas place, then you can reach out to them and say, hey, what are your restrictions and what are your limitations there? Honestly, they want the best for their clients, so they will just go above and beyond and let you do whatever. And then as far as like national parks go here out in Utah, we have so many national parks. I have an annual parks pass. So I just make sure that I have that. And then when I know I'm going into a national parks, I say, hey, just heads up, there's like a $15 fee. So you might want to make sure you have cash on you if they don't have it set up. Because sometimes you need to put it into a little pocket of a pay envelope thing. Anyway, so yeah, doing research that way is super important.
I had another question. Have you ever done any weddings that included the bride and groom's pets?
I have had an elopement, yeah, that had like a dog there. Yeah, a couple dogs. I've photographed a couple dogs there. I love dogs, so I have like my dog in my room right now. He's sitting over there, so I have no problems with that. I am kind of allergic to like everything else. Like I've photographed with horses and llamas, but and goats. But I am like super allergic to like wildlife that way. So I try to like steer clear. And then and what else? Yeah, so like it's almost like working with people, just making sure that they have like treats or something. And I usually just do my like when you do for kids, and the dogs are like, what? What? And they poke their little ears up. And then usually talking to the client, like if they have I actually photographed a chicken, now that I'm remembering. She had a pet hen. That was so weird. Anyway, and so you ask them, you talk to the bride, like, hey, what keywords or what trigger words are they going to want? Like if you say treat, or if you say want to go on a walk, or if you say, my dog's like, what? So ask your client what their trigger words are. Like, what can I say to get this? And that's exactly what you do with kids too, right? Like, what do they like? Elmo or Yo Gabba Gabba or what? And then you start doing whatever they like. So it's the same thing with animals, except it's easier. So you just like make crazy noise. Treat, 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 treat. That kind of a thing. I hope that answered your question. Okay, so let's go to pricing. And I know I've mentioned pricing all along the way, but pricing is something that's a little tricky. And I just like to be honest. I like to be honest, especially since I'm talking to my friends, my photographer friends. I like to be honest in my pricing because I feel like when I first started in photography, it was like this faux pas thing that no one talked about what they really are charging. And that pissed me off so bad. I'm like, I know you're not getting paid that. You can't be fooling me. This is my big question is, will it bring you joy? I know this is kind of ridiculous to think about it, but really, will it bring you joy? Will shooting a gay wedding in Belize bring you joy? Yes, it will. So what I ended up charging Derek and Kyle was just the cost of the wedding photography. And that ended up paying for the cruise and all of the cruise, the flight and everything. So I only charged them like $2,000 for but for like an hour of work. Yeah. But it obviously took a lot longer to get there and everything. So that helped pay for the cruise. And so basically I got a cruise for free for shooting that one day. So however you want to look at it, but that's how it went. And I will never feel bad about that because that was absolutely the best decision ever. And then in regards to like Stephanie and Andre, I traded for my hair service. And then I also just like had them pay for my gas to get down there. And then my aunt lives down there. So I just stayed with her. So it's almost like taking into consideration, like really what the cost is and then what you'll get out of it. Yeah, so if you go into it and they say like, oh, we're getting married in Nebraska, then you're like, oh, that's full price. Just kidding. I hope no one's from Nebraska on here. I don't know. That was the first state that came out of my mind. Yeah. So will it bring you joy? Like, is it something that's going to have like an impact in 10 years. As I will look back at some of those images and be like, that was worth it, you know. And a lot of the adventure elopements, like I give them my price, especially like just the ones that are local and whatever, like this is my price, and then they pay it. But the ones that are like the crazy ones that you will never probably get again, then you just literally make it happen. I don't care what it is. Okay, do's and don'ts. I've had many people, okay, the word translate is like my favorite. So you say, that actually doesn't translate like you'd think it does. So I have a lot of people that are like, I really have a waterfall in mind. Can we take next pictures next to this waterfall? I'm like, oh, actually the waterfall doesn't translate in photos like you think it would. This tiny little waterfall that's like this skinny in the distance. Or if we go right next to it, it just looks, we're getting wet now. And now it's just, it doesn't translate. So, and it's not, it's like on a cliff and a mountain, we don't have distance. There's so many different things. So instead of explaining that, you say, actually it doesn't translate in photos like you think it would. So whenever you are trying to talk down your client for making a bad decision, you say, actually from a photographer's perspective, I know it doesn't translate like that, like our eyes see it differently than a camera would. Suckers. Now this is a good do's and don'ts. This was an elopement, and I have no idea why on God's green earth they would put a shower curtain on this and then point it in the sun with houses behind. On the other side, you guys, this is 20 feet away. I made them, at the last second, I said, hey, what do you think about us just and putting it right over here? I know that, so I had to go through a bunch of different things, like in my mind, like, is that in my wheelhouse? Is that inappropriate? Should I be saying that from like a photographer's, you know, point of view? Should I be saying that? So it took a minute. I was like, no, I don't want them to be in the sun. I want them to be beautifully backlit with this gorgeous greenery in the background. And I want to take down this white shower curtain and have it just be simplistic and beautiful and put the bride and groom there. And then it was maybe like 10 people, bride and groom, mom and dad. It was an elopement, one of these like COVID elopements. And I just took matters into my own hands, and I knew that that would be better. A lot of these elopements, there aren't wedding planners. You are the only vendor there. You are the only photographer there, or the only person there that knows anything about anything. And so they're kind of like, I don't know, like we just are trying. And so you go in and you help them plan. And so anyway, so that's it. It's awkward, but once you get over that awkwardness, like this bride gave me just the best review on Google, and I just still love her so much. Okay, so anyway, an adventure photographer is only as good as the shoes on their feet. So you have to wear the appropriate shoes to get to the appropriate places, okay? So like when I was hiking a mountain, I was wearing the friggin' wrong shoes. So then I went and bought these hiking boots because that was the appropriate shoes. And so now I know it sounds like stupid, but you guys, if you're gonna be in water, like I wear these Hunter Rain, but these are literally the shoes that I own, PS. The Hunter Rain boots are great because when you're in like crossing a river or going into a little bit of a lake, you can have them go into the lake, or you can go in and then still be dry. The Sorel boots, I have Sorel rain boots. Those are not the same as Sorel winter boots. I have almost had frostbite on my feet when I wore the wrong Sorel boots because someone said to get Sorel boots. I don't know, these ones, they're called Joan of Arc, cute, right? And wear them, okay? Because your feet will never get cold if you're in the snow. And then the Chacos, I have Chacos on right now. Guys, I'm not even kidding. I'll show you how cute. These are children's Chacos. And I don't know if you guys can see my video, but look how cute they are, okay? So they go in the water. You can get them dirty. You can climb in them easily. Great for red rock climbing and sand. I wear them in sand beaches and stuff. Anyway, but they are just like my go-tos. And I just feel like I can, because you need to have that strong footing. If you are going to be like climbing around, walking backwards on things, like you need to have the right footwear. See, look, that's me wearing my Chacos in the sand. See how easy that is? I don't know why I put that in there. Okay, a photographer is only as good as their lens. And I know that I have talked 100 million times about how awesome Sigma is. I freaking love them. These two lenses I feel like I have used the most during my adventure elopements because I can get that huge wide shot, that 14 to 24 millimeter 2.8 focal length. Love that. Super wide. Also, it makes like people that maybe are a little bit fluffier or thicker a little bit more lean. And I've enjoyed that myself, taking pictures, having someone take a picture of me. I love it. Lean me right up. The 105 is great because you can pop that on and it gives it that drama. It is kind of annoying because they are like really hefty, but I'm going to tell you firsthand, I hiked with these up the mountain and it is fine. You can do it. It's worth it. Oh my gosh, I freaking love them. I would carry them around every day. No problem. The other lenses I like and I use 35 and 50. I really enjoy the art lenses that Sigma has, the 1.4s. I just want to like shake you and say, buy these lenses, specifically the 35. It is on sale. You guys, through Samys, they're having a killer sale right now. Can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it is like, because we're doing this today, they're doing a killer deal. 35 millimeter, I think it's 6 something. Anyway, it's maybe 7. I don't know. Mike will tell you about it later. Or right now, whenever he wants to.
I'll jump in right now. It's normally $8.99. We have a $200 discount and an additional $25 discount if you put in Sigma 25. But I'll go over these at the end as well with pricing.
Okay, good. Okay, so I love the 35, and then the 50 millimeter has been a recent fave. So like when I climbed that mountain, I think I had the 35, the 50, the 105, and the 14 to 24. Might have had a 24 to 70, but I don't think I even used it. Anyway, I love these. I love the 1.4 lenses, like hands down. If I can get away with using a standard fixed lens, prime, whatever you call it, I love them. I love them. They just are crisp. They're crisp and dreamy, and like I get emotionally connected to them. I freaking love them. Okay, and then an adventure photographer is only as good as their Lightroom presets. I'm gonna do like a shameless little plug for my Lightroom presets because I have no idea how I edit images without them. I don't even know how to edit images anymore unless I have my own Lightroom presets that I've used. I know that a lot of adventure photographers have done this like sepia wash, this like warm tone all over everything. I've loved it, but I have like a little bit of a nod to that warmer tone, that like dreamy, yummy look, but I like to keep in some natural hues. So you can still see that this dress is still the same color and stuff. Like it takes a lot of like the neon greens. It kind of just gives them that fun look. Yeah, it's anyway. So these before and afters, you'll actually want to edit again. So for me, when I create new Lightroom presets, I get so excited because I like just go crazy and just all of a sudden it's 2 in the morning. Oh my goodness, I've been editing for like 4 hours, having so much fun. It just goes so fast though. Like I can edit an entire wedding. Like, so usually I'll shoot like for a first look session, maybe like 700 images. I know you're like, what? That's so many. It's because I don't know if these people are blinking or not. So then I cull them down to like around 200 amazing images. That's like full body, 3/4 headshots, walking shots, romantic close-ups. I mean, I'm doing these are 200 like beefy, delicious, yummy, so many shots. Okay. And so that maybe takes me maybe an hour to edit, and that's because I use these Lightroom presets. I just love it. I shoot pretty dark, and that is to be able to hold on to those highlights. So you can see this picture on the right. I give a lot of the credit to this picture on the right to being pull all that information up into like the Z7. It has a great dynamic range because I wanted to pull in that the light coming through that lace you can see on that right side. The light coming through that, I wanted to make sure I exposed for that. And anyway, and then I was able to pull my Lightroom preset and just like popped everything up. Holds onto those highlights and it brings up those shadows. Same thing on the left. So I wanted to expose to make sure that I get like all of that information in the highlights, and then I just bring up the shadows. I love it. Okay, so I am giving 40% off to all of my Samy's photo friends. So use the code Samy's photo at the McKenzie bag, and you can get 40% off of any preset pack. And they're not like insane. They're not like this like $800 presets. They're maybe like $30 with like the 40% off. So it's like, it's totally worth it. It's one of those. Okay. Oh, here's a little bit of fun just to end our adventures today. What the heck? Why is it appropriate for a photographer to go under a bride's dress and then jump out of it? That is not appropriate at all, but I did it and I don't care. So that is what it is. And anyway, okay, little bit of help here with your self-doubt. So I know that we're going along here in our lives as a photographer and we sit there and compare ourselves to all the other photographers. Don't do it anymore. Stop it. In fact, I don't look at anyone else's feed unless they're like a high-end, amazing like photographer. Okay, I don't want to start naming names or else the other people are going to be sad. Just kidding. Okay, so but when faced with self-doubt, just shoot more. It's the least expensive way to do marketing. It's the healthiest thing you can do for your mind. It's the best thing you can do to continue becoming a better photographer. For me, I have been faced with like some anxiety, some depression in my life, and I have noticed that in my life when I look back and I see that I'm my busiest when I'm my busiest self, when I'm creating, when I'm booking weddings and shooting so many sessions, I am my most healthiest. And it's because I'm at sunset, the sun is coming on me, I'm connecting with clients, I'm creating, and that is helping me mentally. And so when I'm in the stupid dang January and February drought, it's like the worst. And I really just struggle. I struggle mentally and stuff, and I start looking at other people's work and it's just awful. So instead of doing that, I really do feel like shooting more. So start creating, doing your own projects and getting out there. If you don't feel like your portfolio is what you want it to be, make it your best. Do it. So and that's, yeah. Okay. Don't miss out on something that could be great just because it also could be difficult. Being a self-employed wedding photographer, an adventure photographer, elopement photographer, it is so hard because you really do need to be specific and find these awesome clients. It's hard to compare yourself to other people. It's hard to get paid appropriately and to pay your bills. Like I'm 100% right there with you. But don't give up. Don't give up on something just because it's really hard sometimes, because you can get that big payout and you can get, you can make money with this, guys. So don't just give up because it's hard. I love you this much. I would love to be a part of your journey. I would love to help you with any mentoring sessions. So if you want, head over to the website, that McKenzieDeakins.com. It will redirect you to the McKenzie bag if you want to purchase a mentoring session. So mentoring sessions, we go over everything and anything. I can go over portfolio critiques. We can go over problems you're having with lighting, even with off-camera flash. I can help you with that. Okay. And Instagram branding, social media, any of that stuff. I love building businesses. I love meeting new photographers. I love helping them from even the very beginning to like the very end. Or if you're a seasoned photographer and you're just stuck and you're like, I'm not booking any new clients, I'm just kind of conveyor belting my photo shoots, and it's just, so anything like that, I would love to be a part of your photography journey. So head to McKenzieDeakins.com and let's get your mentoring session booked. I think the Samys 40% off also works for mentoring sessions. Okay. So get your Lightroom presets in your mentoring sessions, and yeah. And then follow me along on Instagram. I love when people reach out to me, direct messages. I always respond I directly message my direct messages. So if you have any questions, I even like send videos and stuff back because it's so much easier for me to talk about it. So yeah, reach out to me. I would love to help you in your photography life. So I think that's my last slide.